A butterfly garden requires a vision and a careful hand. As a butterfly gardener, you'll need to balance the size and number of your flower beds as you try to attract butterflies to the flowers with the best nectar in Papillon. Welcome to Tantruma Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp. Papillon is a tile-laying area control game for 2 to 4 players that takes about 30 minutes to play. It's designed by J.B. Howell. It's being published by Kolossal Games and it's on Kickstarter this April. Let's look at the prototype components. There's a game board, flowers, planters, tiles, butterflies, tokens, and more. At the beginning of the game, you'll place out the flowers on the planters and the tiles on the game board with the gnome tokens. Players receive a set of butterflies and some caterpillars. Here's a quick overview of a Papillon. Players will be collecting tiles throughout the game and placing them in their own personal garden Carcassonne-like style. When they complete a flower bed, they'll place one of their butterflies on it, and then in reverse bid order, clipping those butterflies onto flowers. After 8 rounds, the game's over, and whoever has the most points is going to win the game. Let's look at the game. At the beginning of each round, players will bid. The bidding sort of reminds me of how bidding works in 5 tribes. Players will spend caterpillars in order to get a chance to be the first in selecting tiles. So if one player spends 1, the next player could go somewhere in front or somewhere behind. If they choose the 0 space, it has to go on the rightmost space. But if someone else then wants to go on a 0 space, they push that other player's piece 1 space to the left, and then place their piece on the vacant space. Once bidding is over, the players on the 0 spaces collect caterpillars based on their position. Now players draft in the new order, starting with the player who spent the most caterpillars. They can choose either a whole column or row of tiles. Then the next player chooses, and so on, until all players have received tiles. If you take tiles from column or row 2, then you get the gnome. That may immediately give you more caterpillars. They go from 0 to 2. And if you ever just take 1 tile, then you can also take a random tile from the bag. Then all players simultaneously place their tiles together, making sure the sides match each other in their own garden. If you complete a flower patch, then you place a butterfly on it. Once all players have arranged their tiles, then you move to the butterfly phase. In reverse bid order, players place out their butterflies onto the matching flowers. So this butterfly would be clipped to a red flower. The player gets to decide which red flower is clipped to. Since at the end of the game, the players will be receiving points based on majority control of each flower. First with the most butterfly, second with the second most, and third with the third most. If tied for a certain place, then those players get the full amount of points each. If you completed a flower patch with more than 2 tiles when you place a butterfly, you can also claim a bonus token if there is one on that flower. You can place another butterfly on that flower. The bonus token is removed from the game once it's claimed. After the butterfly phase, you'll reset the board and start a new round, and after 8 rounds, the game's over, and then you'll count up your points. You'll score each flower based on majority control. Each caterpillar you have is worth 1 point at the end of the game. And any butterflies in enclosed fields are also worth 1 point for each butterfly. Then you'll look at your 2 largest flower patches and score 2 points for each tile in those patches. And whoever has the most points wins the game. This gameplay is smooth and it plays pretty fast. I think there was one game where I played 3 players and it played under 30 minutes. You'd think with 9 rounds that the game would go a little longer, but the game clips along. I like that you're always getting something. It may just be 2 tiles, and sometimes it's fun reaching into the bag for that random tile to see if you get what you need. Throughout the game, you'll probably be looking for certain designs of tiles to complete your flower patches and fields. So it may be worth, in a given round, to bid more in order to get what you need. Now you only have a limited number of butterflies, just 12. But if you complete a flower patch, you are allowed to unclip one of them from any flower and place it on your new flower patch. I enjoy the decisions that you're making throughout the game, not only with how you're building your personal garden, but like how much you're going to bid in a given round. Should I try and go first? That will give me lots of tiles. Or should I try and go last? That will maybe not get me as many tiles, but it will allow me to place my butterflies out first, which could give me a big advantage in the game. And bidding can be more or less aggressive depending on who you're playing with. I think there was one game where no one bid 4 or 5 caterpillars throughout the whole game. There was a game I played the other night, and people were bidding 4 and paying 4 or 5 caterpillars a lot more. There is an expert variant to the game where you can also use your gnomes for some extra points at the end of the game. I tried it a couple times and it was fun. Basically, when you get a gnome during the drafting phase, you immediately place it in either a field or a flower patch. At the end of the game, if that area is complete, then you get an extra point per tile or butterfly. So here, instead of each red tile being worth 2 points each, it would be worth 3 points each. One of the things I like in this game is the clipping of the butterflies onto the flowers. Now, I know this is all prototype, but I was talking to Kolossal Games, and they said that the clothespins would still be in the final production as well. This game looks beautiful, and the colors that are used fits very well with the theme. One big plus is the table presence that this game has. People are drawn to it like bees to honey. If you enjoy tile laying games, area control games, you like this butterfly theme, then check out Papillon on Kickstarter from Kolossal Games, and we'd love for you to subscribe to Tantrum House.